If after 30 years of marriage she suddenly said, "Don't touch me," that moment probably felt like a slap you never saw coming. 3 decades of shared beds, shared bills, shared pain, shared dreams, and now a wall where warmth used to live. If you're confused, hurt, or even angry, stay with me, because this is not just about touch. It's about everything that led to that sentence. Imagine this. For 30 years you reached for her in small ways, a hand on her shoulder, a casual hug, a nighttime cuddle. Maybe sometimes it led to intimacy, maybe sometimes it didn't, but it was normal. It was yours. Then one day, without warning, she pulls away and says, "Don't touch me." No explanation, no softness, just distance. What changed? Here's the hard truth. That sentence was not born overnight. It was built brick by brick over years. For many women, physical touch is never just physical. It carries emotion, safety, validation, and sometimes resentment. If emotional intimacy slowly faded, if conversations turned transactional, if appreciation disappeared, if she felt unheard for years, her body may eventually say what her mouth didn't. A woman can lie beside you for years and still feel alone, and loneliness inside marriage is one of the most painful kinds of loneliness, because you're not alone, but you feel invisible. Over 30 years, life changes people. Bodies age, hormones shift, energy declines, responsibilities grow, children come and go. Financial stress rises and falls. Somewhere in that journey, couples either grow together or slowly drift into parallel lives. She may have felt like she carried more emotional weight. She may have asked for help in subtle ways that went unnoticed. She may have stopped asking altogether. When a woman stops asking, it doesn't mean she doesn't need. It often means she has given up expecting. Resentment is quiet at first. It whispers. It keeps score. It remembers anniversaries forgotten, arguments dismissed, tears ignored. It remembers the nights she needed comfort but received silence. It remembers when touch felt demanded instead of desired. And over time, touch can start to feel like pressure instead of connection. There is also the reality of aging. After 30 years, she is not the same woman she was at 25. Her body has changed. Hormones shift significantly during perimenopause and menopause. Estrogen drops. Libido can decrease. Physical discomfort during intimacy can become real. If she feels pain, dryness, or discomfort, but never felt safe enough to talk about it, touch can start to feel threatening, but instead of saying, "I'm uncomfortable," she says, "Don't touch me." Because sometimes it's easier to reject than to explain vulnerability. Another possibility is emotional exhaustion. Many long-term marriages fall into routines. Conversations revolve around bills, children, health issues, responsibilities. Romance becomes scheduled. Spontaneity disappears. When affection only shows up at bedtime, it can feel like the only time she is noticed is when something is wanted. If she feels that touch always leads somewhere, she may shut down all touch to avoid expectation. Over decades, if non-sexual affection disappears, random hugs, forehead kisses, holding hands in the kitchen, then physical closeness becomes loaded. It stops feeling innocent. It becomes a trigger. And then one day, her body reacts before her mind filters it. "Don't touch me." It may also be grief. After 30 years, couples go through losses. Parents pass away, health scares happen, children leave home, identity shifts. She may be grieving the woman she used to be. She may feel unseen in her aging body. If compliments stopped years ago, if appreciation faded, if you stopped noticing her effort, she may have slowly felt undesirable and eventually uninterested. Desire thrives where appreciation lives. Another layer is unresolved conflict. Some couples never truly resolve arguments. They bury them. They move on without closure. But buried emotions do not disappear. They settle into the body, and the body remembers. If she never felt fully heard during conflicts, if apologies were rare, if her emotional needs were minimized, touch can start to feel hypocritical. How can she feel close physically if she feels distant emotionally? Sometimes "don't touch me" is really saying, "You haven't touched my heart in years." And sometimes it's fear. After 30 years, some women fear becoming invisible. They feel replaced by work, hobbies, phones, television, or even younger women. If she senses emotional betrayal, even subtle, trust weakens. And without trust, the body closes. But here is something important. Not every "don't touch me" means she stopped loving you. Sometimes it means she stopped feeling connected.
Love and connection are not identical. Love can remain as commitment, loyalty, history, but connection requires attention. It requires curiosity. It requires intentional effort, even after decades. Long marriages often suffer from familiarity. You assume you know her. She assumes you won't change. So both stop trying in small ways. Compliments fade. Date nights disappear. Deep conversations become rare. And slowly, touch loses its meaning. In some cases, it's anger that was never expressed. Women are often socialized to keep peace, to swallow frustration, to prioritize family harmony. For years, she may have avoided confrontation, but unexpressed anger doesn't evaporate, it hardens. And when it hardens, physical closeness feels impossible. There is also the possibility of depression. Emotional numbness can make any form of intimacy feel overwhelming. If she is struggling internally with sadness, anxiety, hormonal changes, or identity shifts, she may pull away from touch because she feels disconnected from herself. You cannot share your body when you don't feel present in your own. After 30 years, roles can replace romance. You become co-managers of life instead of lovers, roommates with history, partners in logistics, but strangers in emotion. If the only time you initiate touch is in the bedroom, she may feel reduced to a function rather than valued as a whole person. And here is the part many men struggle to hear. Sometimes she tried to fix it long before she stopped you. She hinted. She asked for more conversation. She wanted more appreciation. She suggested counseling. She expressed loneliness. If those attempts felt dismissed or minimized, she may have gradually withdrawn. Withdrawal is rarely sudden. It is the final stage of repeated disappointment. But let's turn the mirror gently. How have you changed in 30 years? Did stress make you less patient? Did work consume your energy? Did parenting leave you exhausted? Did you stop expressing affection because you assumed she already knew? Long marriages require reinvention. Without it, routine suffocates romance. And here's something hopeful. "Don't touch me" can be a wake-up call, not necessarily an ending. Instead of reacting defensively, instead of feeling rejected, the stronger move is curiosity. Ask softly, "Help me understand," not in accusation, not in sarcasm, not in wounded pride, but in genuine concern. Many women crave emotional safety before physical safety. If she feels heard without interruption, validated without correction, respected without pressure, walls can soften. It will not change overnight. If distance took years to build, closeness may take time to rebuild. Start with non-threatening gestures, kind words, appreciation without expectation, listening without solving, compliments without agenda, a hand offered, not imposed. Rebuild friendship before passion. Remember what connected you 30 years ago. Shared humor, dreams, late night conversations, curiosity about each other's thoughts. Bring that back in small doses. If menopause or physical discomfort is involved, encourage medical support with compassion, not criticism. Intimacy can be redefined. Closeness does not only mean intercourse, it can mean shared vulnerability, slow affection, gentle connection. And if there is deep resentment, counseling can be powerful. After decades together, there's history worth fighting for. But one more possibility must be acknowledged with honesty. Sometimes "don't touch me" is emotional closure. In rare cases, it signals that love has shifted permanently. Maybe there is unresolved betrayal. Maybe emotional infidelity occurred. Maybe she has emotionally detached long ago. In those cases, rebuilding requires radical honesty from both sides. What should you never do? Never respond with anger, never withdraw completely, never seek revenge, never force touch. That will only confirm her fears and deepen the divide. Instead, show her a version of you she hasn't seen in years. Attentive, patient, emotionally present. Touch begins long before hands meet skin. It begins in tone of voice, in eye contact, in daily respect. After 30 years, intimacy must evolve. It cannot look like it did at 25. It must be slower, deeper, more intentional. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened without checking your phone? When was the last time you thanked her for something specific? When was the last time you noticed her effort? When was the last time you touched her without wanting anything in return? Sometimes the path back is through humility. And if you are the woman watching this and you have said, "Don't touch me," ask yourself gently, have I clearly communicated what I need? Have I allowed room for repair? Have I closed the door without explaining why? Marriage is not maintained by history alone. 30 years is an achievement, but it is not immunity from decay. The good news? Long history also means deep foundation, shared memories, shared resilience, shared storms survived. That matters. So if you heard those painful words, do not panic. Do not assume the worst, but do not ignore them either. They are a signal that something needs attention, a signal that emotional needs may be unmet, a signal that intimacy must evolve, a signal that routine has replaced romance, a signal that pain went unheard, and signals are invitations, if you choose to treat them that way. Rebuilding begins with conversation, continues with consistency, and grows with patience. 30 years together means you once chose each other. Maybe you can choose each other again, this time with more wisdom. So before you let pride take over, before you retreat into silence, lean into courage. Ask, listen, validate, adjust, appreciate. Because sometimes "don't touch me" is not a rejection of you. It is a cry for reconnection. If this message resonated with you, if you've experienced distance in a long marriage, share your thoughts in the comments. Relationships after decades require different tools, and open conversations can help others feel less alone. Subscribe for more insights about long-term love, emotional intimacy, aging relationships, and rebuilding connection after years together. After 30 years, touch still matters, but understanding matters more. And sometimes, the most powerful way to touch your spouse again is to first touch their heart.